Everybody taking a chance to look over our minutes from our last meeting, which was October the 22nd? If so, to hear a motion.
So moved.
There's one thing that we need to change.
All right,
I was in jury duty, and it says that I was here.
okay. Yeah, we missed you, though.
I know, I miss y'all too. I'd much rather have been here.
They said it was a long trial.
Oh,
All right, with that one correction, Tracy, you got that? All right. Financial report, Mr. Carl?
Did we approve them?
Okay. And all right, we got a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Motion and a second, all in favor. All right, now we'll go down to the financial report.
All right, and it's just the same as last month because this account doesn't change much. So all we've got, we just had some more interest that we earned. There's about $80,000 in it right now in the account right now. But we've got that
Signage.
gateway signage to pay for, and we're not exactly sure how much is left on that, right?
We're gonna meet with him next week.
Yep, and Janet's gonna talk about that, but that's it on the financial report for the DDA.
All right, we'll move on down to number 4, old business. You want gateway signage first? Bill had something, I had something also on that one.
So Lynn Nosick, who's been handling the gateway stuff for us, is actually gonna be in town next week, working on another project. So he's actually gonna come to our office, my office, and sit down and kind of talk to me about where we've left off and what we owe him. So, that's where we're at with that. I had a conference call with him last week. So he's gonna come in town next week, and we'll talk about remaining balance, kind of where him, Chris, and you guys kind of left off with him as far as how we need to move forward and what we owe him. So that's where we're at with him.
Is there any kind of estimate on the timing to get these in? 6 months down the road, 8 months?
I
No?
know he's taken on a couple other projects since we initially reached out to him, so I don't know what his status is on those. But I'm sure that's something we'll talk about next week.
Okay.
That's all I have on that.
Okay, well, I had something on old business, a letter that we sent to the representatives and so forth. I did sign off on some letters last week and give them back to Elisa, and I guess they're in the process of getting mailed.
Okay.
I got a copy of those in email today. I guess they were from City Hall, or was that from you,
Who
Janet?
was it for me?
Must have been from Elisa then, and it showed them going out to 4 or 5 different people.
They're about 8 I signed, I think,
8?
yeah.
I think it came from Stacy Blackman.
That was from Stacy.
From
Yeah.
Stacy.
Did they actually mail it out, Tom?
I don't know, I'll ask Elise in the morning. All I saw was the names and addresses going back and forth by email.
Well, I did sign some paperwork, so
Okay,
I think Jerry got the most recent knowledge.
okay.
okay, and Bill had something else on old business?
Yeah, we have got a facade grant application here, the first one we've had in quite a while. And I just want to kind of review the past with the people that have not participated in these facade grants. Early on in the process, we agreed, and I don't know if it's written down somewhere or not, but we agreed as a body that we would attempt to take the facades back to their original appearance as much as reasonably possible. Now, there are some that obviously aren't reasonably possible, such as the ones that have been stuccoed over are not going to go back to brick unless somebody wants to spend an inordinate amount of money to brick over the stucco. We also decided we would not fund any kind of signage for a business, that's a business expense, not something that we need to participate in to promote an individual business. We're actually trying to promote the building more so than the business that's in it. And this particular facade grant is where Southern Homes is, down at the lower end of the second block. I may be the only one up here that remembers all this, but anyway, that was originally a gas station, and it had bays there. If you're facing the front of it, it had bays on the left, and it was brick. And I don't really remember when the stucco was added, but it's been there for quite a while. And it's certainly been modified to where there's no way we can take it back to its original thing and be reasonable about expenses on it. The facade grant request asked for some modifications to the front of it, such as doing away with the wall that's out there that kind of makes a little patio back in behind it. Certainly doing away with that wall would be a step toward taking it back, but since there are no bays back there, I'm not sure what that would do. The painting that they asked for, I don't know if that really meets the spirit of the facade grant or not. If somebody just wants to paint their building, does that meet the facade grant desire for taking a building back or fixing it up to restore it, which is basically what the facade grant was for, was to restore something as close as we could to the original configuration. The stucco that is on several buildings in downtown, most of that was done back, I think, in the early 80s when there was a somewhat of an effort to take Villa Rica back to the Spanish villa concept. And Richard Smith over at Don Rich redid his building in a Spanish motif, with the arch windows, and several more here in town were done in stucco. And I even redid a facade in stucco. And I regretted it the minute I did it, but I did. And then later, I found some brick from the old Temple Depot, and I bricked it up with those old brick to cover up stucco. So, just attempting to restore things is really what we were talking about, or to fix up something that really needed attention. It was not ever intended to redecorate as such. And so some of this facade grant application here does really improve the appearance of that building. And the signage part, I would say certainly we had agreed early on not to participate in signage for any particular business. The exterior painting, does it really need painting, or is this just something that Brad Paris and Rose Marie want to do? Certainly it'll make it look better. I have no quarrel with it making it look better. But is that really what we're trying to do, is to make it look better, or trying to work with the Historic Preservation Commission and to maintain or get it back to as close as we can for what it was? So with that in mind, when we get to this particular thing, I would like for you to keep that in mind. Secondly, on the filling the vacancies, in the past, we have actually gone out and sought individuals to fill the positions, aiming at downtown merchants. And I still think that's the best way to go, is to have downtown merchants on the DDA, have business owners and downtown merchants that have a real vested interest in what's going on downtown. The two new applications that we've got, I know of one, and I don't know of the other, but I was just wondering, what do you think about possibly appointing a subcommittee from this body to actually interview applicants and come back with a recommendation to the body, rather than us looking at a written application and voting on a written application, whether we know them or not, to have maybe three of us maybe two of us, to actually sit down with the applicants and come back with a recommendation. That is something that I think we probably need to consider. We all know that our recommendations may or may not be followed, but that would make our recommendations have much more thought to them, and would certainly, I think, be received better if we made the effort to do that. So that's what I was going to bring up. And when we get to that part, Mr. Chairman, we can either decide to do that or not.
Okay.
But I just want you to be thinking about it.
Okay. Anything else on old business? All right, we'll move on down to number 5, new business. Reassign and recommendation of new members. So I guess we can start there then. So do we need a motion for that, Bill?
Well, let's discuss it. I know, is it Owenstein? Owen, I do not know you, but I have seen your name around here for a long, long time. She's in the real estate business, and she has been around. And then the other applicant was a Mr. Bruno, was that right?
Yes.
I don't know if anybody knows Mr. Bruno or not, I don't. And I would assume that Ellen McBrayer's application is still active. Okay, so there are 3 to fill 2 positions, is that correct?
What about
Matthew?
Matthew Monahan?
Right, okay. And Matthews.
Yeah.
I was thinking that was a done deal, Matthew, I'm sorry. So, I just think that would be a more thorough way to look at things, and would give them the opportunity to express to us their desire to meet the overall goals of the DDA, and for us to evaluate those that we think would best meet the goals of the DDA. So I am making a motion then that we appoint a subcommittee to interview applicants for vacancies on the DDA. A subcommittee of not more than 3, not less than 2.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second on that?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
No discussion.
Okay.
Can
go
we
ahead.
discuss it first?
All
Yeah.
right.
I'm just saying, I thought it was after the motion, we had discussion.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know why we would need a subcommittee. I mean, we're a small enough group already. Why can't we just do it as a group? If you want to interview them, we could have them come to a meeting and have an interview process before we decide.
Do you think, Carl, that an interview process in an open meeting is the best way to do this?
I think I would prefer that over a subcommittee, because I mean, it's not like it's not going to be. I mean, we're just going to ask them, why do you want to be on the DDA, and here's what we do, and do you think you could do that type of deal? I would think. I don't think we'd be asking a whole lot of personal information that they wouldn't want out in the public. That's just my opinion on it.
More comments? Now, we've had a motion and a second. All in favor? See that, Tracy?
No, I don't know who opposed and who abstained, so.
No, opposed?
You abstaining?
So where's that stand then? Got to have a
Well,
quorum.
we need a committee, either two or 3. And we need to have one pretty soon, don't we?
So who would like to be on that committee?
I don't mind serving on it. I have the time to do it.
Right. Anybody else like to volunteer?
I can do it.
Okay.
That's 2.
Sounds like a good committee right there.
Okay. Are you appointing the committee then?
I think I just appointed you then.
Okay.
You volunteered and you volunteered, so.
All right,
Okay. Is that all we got on that one, Bill?
yeah.
All right, moving on down to number 2, consideration of Southern Home Facade Grant application. We've talked about it a little bit, but, questions, Bill?
Well, pretty much, I reviewed it, and based on our position in the past, we would meet dollar for dollar up to a $5,000 outlay, assuming money is available. And I have a great deal of respect for Rosemarie and her imagination and artist ability and everything, and I have no doubt that she can come up with a beautiful new building that looks great. So that is not the issue at all. But does it need painting? Will the painting materially affect the appearance of it? The tearing down of the wall would be a move toward the way it used to be. Putting sconces on the outside would certainly improve the appearance of the building. Signage has never been considered as part of the facade grant. So, based on what I remember here, certainly if funds are available, first of all, the wall demolition, the sconces outside, and the awning change would all be considered eligible for the facade grant. The painting, I don't think would, but that's just my opinion. So,
Bill, I would
And-
like to say, I mean,
pardon?
am I allowed?
Sure.
The stucco on there is very damaged from years of other businesses having signage, and the stucco really needs repairing. There's no way you could repair it and not paint it. That's the only thing about the painting, you know, 'cause it's got, if you go look at it close, there's lots of holes in it, and that was part of the bid.
And Bill, also, this has gone before the Historic Preservation
Yeah.
Committee already, and they've already approved it. Signed
Have
it.
they?
Approve the colors.
Yeah, they've signed off on all of it.
Well, we have always said that you had to have the certificate of approval. Was that what they do?
I don't know.
Isn't that what it's called, or certificate of appropriateness? But that doesn't guarantee a facade grant, but that's part of it. But you say the stucco is in need of repair. Okay. That is not obvious just from a drive-by, but
Yeah.
I can take your word for that. So painting over it would actually do that?
They'll actually repair it and then paint it, so it'll all match, you know, the patching that would look bad. But yeah, there's a lot of holes in it, it's odd, really, to see how many holes have been poked in all that over the years, so.
Well, how much money is available?
Well, that's the next thing
the
is,
next question.
until we find out
Signage.
what the signage is gonna cost, I don't know how much
Well,
money.
the signage, it shouldn't be eligible anyway.
No, I'm talking about
The signage.
the
for
roadway
gateway.
direction
Yeah.
signs, yeah.
The gateway signage.
Okay.
Until we know how much we've got to pay for those directional signs, I don't know how much we have for the facade grant. So while I'm in favor of the facade grant, I think we may need to wait until we see how much money we're going to have after we figure out what the gateway signage is going to cost us.
Well, it sounds to me like, based on Rosemary's comments, that everything but the signage there would be eligible. And whatever we have, whatever's available, could be made available on a dollar for dollar with a maximum of $5,000 from us. So,
No, it's 5,000 or half that 5,000?
no, it's 5,000 up to 5. If they spent 10, they would be eligible for 5. If they spend 15, they're still eligible for 5. That is the way we've done it in the past. And when you start remodeling a facade, it's not cheap.
Yeah. So we need a hold here on this one then?
I think we can approve the concept without approving or without absolutely agreeing to do it, because we don't have our finances in order right now. But certainly we would, I move we approve it based on funds available.
Okay, that's a motion from Bill
Yeah.
to approve,
Except for the signage.
except the signage.
Yeah.
I've got a motion, Bill, to have a second.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
And that's up to $5,000.
Yes.
All right, we'll move on down to number 6, public comment.
Oh,
Okay, I'll skip right over that, didn't I? I'm not here today. I've had sinus troubles for 2 weeks. All right, number 3, discussion of December meeting. We usually cancel this meeting and have a meet out, but we're kind of slim right now. Didn't know whether the consensus of the group was to have a meeting and just have a eating out, or what's the views?
I think Jerry always refers to this as an eating meeting. Isn't that right?
I think so.
An eating meeting?
No business.
Can we wait until January for some of the things that we've got to take care of?
We probably need to talk about, if you're doing the subcommittee, we really need to fill these positions by January 1, so we
So-
probably need to meet in December.
We need to have a meeting to fill the vacant positions at least.
Yeah.
So I don't think we can cancel the December. I'm all for eating, but I don't
Yeah,
think we can
well,
cancel
no
the
big
December
deal.
meeting. I think we'd have to do both.
You do need to change the meeting date, because I'm pretty sure that's December 24th, which is
Yeah.
Christmas Eve.
And then the next Monday is.
Why can't we have a short meeting during our eating meeting?
Well, it has to be open to the public, so you're going to invite everybody to join us for
Everybody at the
dinner?
venue can come, or whatever.
Is that-
December 31st is actually New Year's Eve, so
Yeah.
probably need to do it.
Need to
Move it up
December.
to
how
like
about the
December
17th?
17th.
Is this gonna be just a regular meeting or eating meeting, is the next question?
Well,
It doesn't really
normally out
matter.
here
It
by
doesn't-
7, aren't we? Can't we just go at 7, like meet here from 6:15 until 7 or so, and then go next door or somewhere?
That sounds good to me.
Suits me.
And that's on a Monday night too, is that right?
So you guys probably need to do your subcommittee meeting before then, so we can come back with some.
Okay,
action.
what's the date again?
17th. 1 week earlier, right?
And we should have numbers from the gateway signage people by then and know what the budget looks like as well. So they can get started on redoing that building.
Okay, so that's set, 17th. We'll have our regular meeting at 6:15, and then immediately after that, we'll make plans to go to the Olive Tree, I
Olive
guess.
Tree, okay.
'Cause it's about the only place to take reservations. Or it is the only place that'll take reservations. We've tried
And-
that before.
The only place open on Mondays too.
Yeah, the gate might be toward the holidays. Okay, now we'll move on into public comment. We'll do that again, since I goofed up the first time. All right.
It's the most public we've ever had, but they don't want to say
I
anything.
know it, they're all quiet, aren't they? All right, items for future agenda.
Well, I have comment for the public. Maybe this is a good place to put it. Mr. Mayor, if I can ask you a question. At Rise and Shine, you had mentioned reviving the Welcome Center project and that we had to do something with the Welcome Center to make it look nice. And so that's the first I had heard of that. So I was wondering if you wanted to let this board know what your plans are for the Welcome Center.
Yeah, we, several months ago, we talked about doing something different with our code enforcement. Some of the buildings and properties in downtown area look really, really bad. And, so we have code enforcement officers now, we have a new code enforcement book, and we've made a concerted effort to try to start that. But almost immediately, a few people came to me and said, you know, you ought to really think about your own building before you can start coming down on somebody else's. And, so I thought about that, and they were right. And, talked about it at the council meeting, and the council agreed to They directed Tom to come up with a plan to try to make it look better, not necessarily to spend the $400,000 that was first talked about, but to spend some amount of money to make it look more like it used to look, like a service station, and not like it looks right now. So that was sort of the direction, and I don't think we have any numbers. We met with the architect 2 weeks ago. A couple of weeks ago, and told him what we wanted, and just a scaled down version of basically what we had the first time. So they're gonna bring that back to us. When they bring that back to us, I've already started the process of trying to talk to the county about getting some inmate labor up here, and if I have to do that, I'll do that. Hopefully we can get a little bit of help.
So are you just talking the outside, or is it gonna be a usable building?
Say that again?
Is it gonna be a usable building inside, or are you just talking about doing something to the outside?
Yeah, I wouldn't, that's not,
What I asked council was for permission to build the shell out and to do the ground. And then hopefully over that period of time, we'll figure out what we want to do with the inside of it. So, Michael Rickman did the original design, which was the basis of the bid. And so I've asked him to pull out everything except for the shell and the ground. And unbeknownst to me, he then said, well, I've got some ideas about how you could do this that would be cheaper than the way that we originally designed it. So I said, lay them on me, so we're waiting to see what his ideas are.
Because I know the original design had meeting space and all that, but I'd like to at least see the office space on the side that we could actually put the Welcome Center in there, even if we can't use the rest of the building. The 1/3 of it was gonna be just an office for the Welcome Center. It'd be nice to do that and move it out of the Avanti building and have a real Welcome Center there, even if we don't use the whole building, at least use the end of it.
That's on the right-hand side.
Yeah, it was on
And
the
more,
right-hand side.
The more you make it look like the original plan, the more money you're gonna spend.
Oh, I understand that, but I know a lot of money was going into the lighting and stuff on the big, there was gonna be like an auditorium area and then offices on the end. I think if you do without that, and just close it up so you only have to heat and
We'll
put
see-
AC
we'll
in
see
that
what
one
the plans
side.
are, but, the biggest problem with making that usable is that parking lot. That has to be improved.
Mhm.
And, there's some ADA issues that have to be addressed if you're gonna make it a public place. So,
Yeah.
we have to look at all that. But
Oh, yeah.
That's what the direction was, is to make it look better, and that's what we're looking at.
Okay.
What about the buildings in the back? Any,
The buildings in the back, there's no,
Duplex, Michael's giving us some ideas on it.
I don't know what my ideas are, but I don't think we need to be in the rental business as a city.
I agree.
Okay.
Also, Mr. Mayor, has Mr. Barber or you had the opportunity to look into the ordinance for downtown about zoning and signs and billboards and pawn shops and so forth?
Specifically, well, we have, the code of ordinances is in place. I mean, if that's the one you're talking about.
Well, I'm just talking about the one that was in place several years ago.
Yeah, it's still there. Nothing's changed about it.
In the downtown overlay, pawn shops are,
yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
And existing billboards were grandfathered in until they changed hands. And this one changed hands when the city bought it. And so having that billboard gone would actually help that parking lot a lot, because you'd be surprised how much that would hinder turning and parking and moving around in there. Plus, it would make downtown look better to have it removed.
Wasn't that part of the original payback, though, was the rental on that billboard?
I don't think so.
it's under lease.
Yeah, it's under.
Yeah, I know it is, but that was after, it was proposed by the previous administration to do that. But we told them early on that was not allowed in downtown, that when it changed hands, it could not be renewed. But, it has been done anyway, but, we really wanted to get the billboards out of downtown.
That's the first I've heard. I had always understood that was part of the agreement to pay back the loan you wanna call it a loan to the city, was that billboard.
Well, this agreement that you're referring to now, are we gonna be off the hook for the $450,000?
Let's hope so.
As far as I'm concerned,
Well, thank you very much. So, paying the city back becomes a moot point then, doesn't it? So, yeah, well, I don't know how much the city gets for the billboard, but certainly it really goes against the long-term plans we had for downtown. It goes back years.
it would not hurt my feelings to see that billboard gone.
Yeah.
And the lease on this was for how long, the new contract they signed? Do you know, Tom?
I have probably been told by Chris,
And the amount of money we get from that billboard is not
Very little,
much
yeah.
at
but
all.
it wasn't a lot for mine.
Anyhow, it would look better if it wasn't there.
Agreed.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Any more questions for Jeff?
Thank you, sir.
I am a new business owner in the city now, so.
You need a drone?
I need to get some cards out, but, West Georgia Aerial Imagery is my new company that everybody was thinking I was gonna have a restaurant. We're all disappointed when I said I wasn't gonna have a
Well, the
restaurant.
headache, right?
But this'll suffice, I hope, for now, so flying drones will be the business for a little while. Thank you.
All right, I think we've already been over item for future agenda. Anything on the executive? I don't guess so, since Stacy's not here tonight. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? All right, we'll move on to our CBB meeting. Has everybody taken a chance to look over the minutes from our last meeting?
We just need to remove my name.
Just remove your name again,
Yeah.
all right?
Sorry about that. I'll try to make it easy.
All right, it was 6:47, Tracy, if you need the time. All right. So do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
All right, got a motion. Carl, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? All right, move on down to number 3, financial report.
There's just one page here. Pass that around. No, that's just showing the last month, the October income, which was nothing because we haven't received the check from the city for September. Or if we have, I haven't gotten it. So there's no revenue in October. But then the year-to-date out there to the side. And then the expenses for the month, we just had a few of those. And you'll see the total for the year, about 28,000 that we've got, net income wise, 28,225. And as far as in the bank right now, we've got about 34,800, but some of that is already been used, been promised out, we just haven't paid it out yet. So we've actually got available 23,125. Because that contract we did last month for 11,560 has not been paid out yet, so that needs to be backed out.
Any questions from Carl?
Bill's still studying it,
He's
so.
still studying. I'll give him a minute.
These numbers just astound me, again, going back to the early days when we had to get out and raise our own money. And
Well,
we
even
thought
compared to last year-
$1,000 was a lot of money.
Well, even compared to last year, it's improved a lot. Since they did that audit, our revenues have doubled, what we're getting now as opposed to what we were getting before they did that audit, so.
Thank goodness for the audit.
That's right,
Thank goodness for honest people,
that's right.
Well, when you make them honest.
Yeah, we'll make it. All right, we'll move on to number 4, old business.
If we had any
Alright.
old business.
Move on to number
The
5.
next item, we need to table to the next meeting because I've got to discuss it with Sharon and Janet with the holidays and with vacations and stuff. We haven't had a chance to talk about it. But I want to talk to them about their training and travel budget before I set it, because I don't know what it should be, but it's definitely going to increase. So I want to talk to them about what other items they'd like to see being done by the CVB and see how we can use the money for that. Because with the increased funds we've got now, we need to find ways to use it.
Okay, well, table number 5, moving on down to number 6, new business.
So we have invoice from Advertising Unlimited for some mugs that we purchased. It's part of our advertising promotion material. So the invoice is for $2,452.78, and Ms. Sharon is on vacation, so I'm presenting this on her behalf.
And if y'all remember anything over 1,500, we have to approve, so. I'll make a motion to approve the invoice.
What kind of mugs are these?
They're, have the tourism logo on it, they're coffee mugs / soup, and so we give these out as promotional items. Part of that is giving to the, Golden City Cruisers every year, we give them a big packet to give out, so part of that stuff that we do, promotional items that we do every year.
A little bit bigger than a coffee mug then. All right, we got a motion from Carl to approve this amount of $24,52.78 or 78. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
I do want to mention, I had a meeting today with 365 Degree Total Marketing. And 2 years ago, we did a insert for their magazine, Think Carol First. It's a 2-year ad, and that is coming back around for 1920. The cost of that ad is $2,695.50. Again, that is a 2-year ad that goes into the Carroll County Chamber's 2-year magazine. So I think we should certainly consider that. That was a big hit for us last time. That's when we did the repromotion, rebranding of the new logo. So I just had an opportunity to meet with her today because of the holidays. So she gave an invoice. I'm happy for you guys to look at it.
And this is due when?
Her deadline is mid-December, so we probably need to talk about it before the next meeting. She'll have to get it in before, definitely before the 17th.
So we can discuss this at our 17th meeting then?
No, she needs it like the 1st of December. That's why I brought it tonight.
So do we need a motion tonight then?
And this is like their welcome guide that
Yes.
all people get when they move into town, and, yeah.
It's through the Chamber of Commerce.
Yes, Carroll County.
And the cost is what again?
They have the invoice they're passing around, it's like 26.
$29.95, is that right? $26.95.
And I think did we have a third of a page? Is that what we had last time?
This would actually be a full page.
It was a full page?
Yeah.
And what did we spend last year on this one?
Well, it's a 2-year deal, so
Well,
we haven't had to do it.
well-
And I think I looked that up. It was $2,600, I think it was.
And that was 2 years ago then.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have another one coming up soon, and that will be the Douglas County side of it, the Douglas County Chamber. Again, this is for Carroll County Chamber.
Carl needs to get all this in his budget then, right?
Yeah, we've got money in this budget.
I mean,
Yeah, and
for our CVD budget.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So do we need a motion on that to approve this then?
Yeah.
All right, do we need a motion?
So moved.
All right, we got a motion for Bill to approve this. Got a second? All in favor? Anything else, Janet?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
$26.95.50.
Mr. Chairman, as an aside, for the travel and convention information, we went down to Apalachicola a couple of weeks ago fishing and stopped on the way back at the Visitors Center in Columbus. And I walked in there, and there are two ladies that work in there. And I just asked them, I said, "Do you have anything in here from Villa Rica?" And both of them perked up and says, "Oh, yeah, we have stuff here. In fact, we were in Villa Rica back last sometime, and we went to the Gold Museum, and we went to Chat and Chew, and we went to Uncorked, and we just thought it was wonderful." And I thought, well, that's good. That's good. So So that was a good day, because these two ladies there are very vocal about their experiences that they have. So I'm just passing
And
that
I bet
on.
if you ask them if they knew Sharon, they would, because that's what she does. She goes to all these welcome centers and
Yeah.
puts out our information and
Yeah.
talks to them about Villarica, and so.
Well, they were actually up here though for a day,
Okay.
on a tour when they were redoing the visitor center down there. I guess it was last summer or winter. So I was pretty impressed with that.
All right, moving on down to number 7, public comment. Again, open to the floor. All right, number 8, items for future agenda.
We'll talk about the budget at the next, well, we don't need to have this one in December. Well, maybe we do if we're gonna get the budget in place from January, so. Yeah, we'll talk about the budget. That'd be
Okay.
all that we'll need for that.
Okay, executive session. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We're going to vote on that.
Yes.
Lisa, somebody needs to notify that we're moving the date of our meeting. So that'll be.
Can you handle that, Janet?
Yes, 11.
Yeah, okay.